Love and peace to you. This is a verbal discourse on the Welt Ethos. My name is Peter Johansson Osisi, and I work with the Asona Ashram. So this is an introduction to some teachings from Buddhism regarding the second principle of our Welt Ethos, which is Ubuntu, and the experience of social justice, socioeconomic balance within community. So the Buddha himself leads a life of compassion. He withdraws from the household life, and he relies exactly upon the contributions of others. Rather than being the provider of charity, he is the charity. He is the recipient of the generosity. He depends upon the generosity of others, the righteousness of others, and the compassion of others. He relies upon his teachings and even his efficacy in such teachings of compassion and righteousness and truth, and additionally, he teaches the precept of social justice, but he exactly relies upon it in terms of in sustaining his own material existence. This is conveyed within one of the very basic precepts of Buddhism, the abstinence of stealing. The abstinence of stealing, and it involves a humility, a modesty, a discipline regarding consumption, and engagement with material phenomena within this universe and amongst other individuals. So this is exemplified in the second principle within the five precepts, the five basic precepts within Buddhism, and this is communicated within the Digha Nikaya, specifically within the Brahmagala Sutta 9-8, chapter 9, verse 8. Or he might say, putting away the taking of what has not been given, Gautama the recluse lives aloof from grasping what is not his own. He takes only what is given, and expecting that gifts will come, he passes his life in honesty and purity of heart. Again, that's the Brahmagala Sutta 9-8, chapter 9, verse 8. So that should probably just be 8, verse 8. Probably chapter 1, verse 8. That's my error. So he teaches the basic precept of accepting what is given and abstaining from unduly being aggressive or unduly imposing upon others as a means of securing one's own material sustenance. Within another sutta, the Buddha is asked about the benefits that come with this livelihood, this lifestyle, this discipline. A king approaches him and asks him, what are the benefits of leading this lifestyle? What are the tangible benefits? The Buddha provides a response that there's peace, there is serenity, there's harmony, there's spiritual transcendence, but there's also, in a tangible sense, increased harmony with others, and even respect and recognition from others accordingly. This is a tangible benefit that ascetics, that renunciants experience in having that discipline of living from the contributions and the compassion and righteousness of others. And so this is a passage that speaks to this effect. This is the Samanya Phala Sutta, verse 35, 35 a 36. verse 35 through 36. Now what do you think, O king? Suppose among the people of your household there were a slave who does work for you, rises up in the morning before you do, and retires later to rest, who is keen to carry out your pleasure, anxious to make himself agreeable in what he does and says, a man who watches your every look. Suppose he should think, strange is it and wonderful, this issue of meritorious deeds, this result of merit. Here is the king of Magadha, Ajatasattu, the son of the Vedahad princess. He is a man, and so am I. But the king lives in the full enjoyment and possession of the 5 pleasures of sense, a very angel, methinks. And here am I, a slave, working for him, rising before him and retiring later to rest, keen to carry out his pleasure, anxious to make myself agreeable in deed and word, watching his very looks. Would that I were like him, that I too might earn merit. Why should not I have my hair and beard shaved off, and don the yellow robes, and going forth from the household state, renounce the world? And suppose after a time he should do so, and having been admitted into a sangha, should dwell restrained in act and word and thought, content with mere food and shelter, delighting in solitude. And suppose your people should tell you of this, saying, If it please your majesty, do you know that such a one, formerly your slave, who worked for you, and so on, has now donned the yellow robes, and has been admitted into a sangha, and dwells restrained, content with mere food and shelter, delighting in solitude? Would you then say, Let the man come back, let him become a slave again and work for me? Nay, master, rather should we greet him with reverence and rise up from our seat out of deference towards him, and press him to be seated. And we should have robes and a bowl and a lodging place and medicine for the sick, all the requisites of a recluse made ready, and beg him to accept of them. And we should order watch and ward and guard to be kept for him according to the law. But what do you think, O king? That being so, is there or is there not some fruit visible in this world of the life of a recluse? Certainly, master, that is so. This then, O king, is the first kind of the fruit, visible in this world, which I maintain to arise from the life of a recluse. That is the Samanya Phala Sutta 35 a 36. Chapter 35 verse 35 to 36. So again, the Buddha is teaching the benefit of living from the compassion and righteousness of others. It's extremely difficult. It's challenging, but there's an experience of harmony and transcendence that comes with this, and there's guidance for all individuals to recognize the benefits that come when we are compassionate, and when we quell our material yearnings for the sake of the well-being of others and our relationships and our harmony with others. So these are some teachings from Buddhism regarding the second principle of our wealth ethos, called Ubuntu. And with that, Ananda Shanti.